July the 8th, 2020. Guys, we're finally getting a very good look at the potential size of this storm. What's happened now, the center of circulation has moved offshore just around the North Carolina, South Carolina border. And again, out over the water, you can see a lot of cloud cover, a lot of storms. But look at the rotation center here, and then look here. What I'm talking about is you got your center of circulation in this area, and then the outer circulation encompasses this entire area. Then you got your outflow going this way. Check this out as I go back into that. But guys, what we're looking at is a potential for a very strong storm depending on how far offshore it gets. It's moving out and it's moving north. So if it keeps 1 foot on land, then that's going to inhibit it somewhat. What's going to happen is in this northwest quadrant, guys, and you can already see the rotation coming into the Outer Banks right there for my friends there. I'm glad you got in your house. You're not in your boat. And I saw where you are going to make sure it's tied down good. Do that and go back to your home and play some of that good guitar that I know you do. Mississippi, right here, guys. We've been getting it today. Now it's spreading into South Mississippi, over into Alabama, and it's going to be on my friends down in Perdido and Pensacola through the Florida Panhandle. But as far as size, this storm is very impressive. The dry side is on land, but we're starting to see some thunderstorms pop up in that area. But this area out here, guys, the further it drifts off into what we call the Gulf Stream, which is warmer water, but your land temperatures are around 82 degrees, and then you get out into the water now. Even without the Gulf Stream, you're a degree or two higher than that, 93, 94 degrees, and that's what is going to create the engine or the turbine in the storm. And again, depending on how far it gets offshore and allows these storms to wrap, because this thing has a tremendous amount of potential energy stored in it. Remember this morning I was talking about it looked like behind it was an additional low pressure area, but all of that now has merged. And so the best scenario would be for it to move north, keep half the storm on shore, and then move ashore very quickly. We're going to watch it, guys. Let's look at the National Hurricane Center. Now, as we look at both the 2-day and the 5-day outlook, you're getting the same thing. And what's happening, guys, is the storm that we saw move out into the Atlantic a few days ago was Edward. This one, if it develops into a tropical storm, will be Faye, F-A-Y. Now, what they're saying, even at 2-day, and I'll go back and show you, we got a 70% chance of development. Let me pull this down, guys. But in the 5-day, I'll give you a little more information about the path. But as of 2 p.m. today, Wednesday Eastern Time, a broad area of low pressure located near the coast of northeastern South Carolina continues to produce a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Now, that's at 2 p.m. It is now 6 p.m. here in Central Time, so it would be 5 hours later, or 7 p.m. on the East Coast. But it says this broad area low pressure has produced a large area of disorganized showers. It's starting to organize, guys, so be very careful. The low is expected to move to the northeastwards or near or just offshore the North Carolina Outer Banks on Thursday, tomorrow. And then turn northeastward and move along the mid-Atlantic coast Friday. It's going to bend with that curve. You can see in the model below, somewhere in that red area will be the center of circulation. That's not the size of the storm. It says environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for development, and a tropical or subtropical cyclone is likely to form within the next day or so. Watch for that by the morning, guys, at least a tropical depression. It says, regardless of the development, the system is expected to produce locally heavy rainfall that could cause some flash flooding across portions of eastern North Carolina, the coastal mid-Atlantic, and southern New England during the next few days. Gusty winds are also possible along the North Carolina Outer Banks through Thursday and along the mid-Atlantic and southern New England coast Friday and Saturday. Interests in these areas should monitor the progress of the system and refer to products from your local weather service. Remember, I mentioned this in the last storm that moved up the East Coast, that Trump had signed executive orders that would allow the fishermen back into that 5,000 square mile area that was, during the Obama administration, had been put out of reach. Well, if you know those fishermen, and I'm sure their weathers are better than ours, and they've got the radar and everything like that, they're Lowrans, but if you know them, just mention to them, or any boaters, that this thing could be very strong. And this is not the kind of storm, looking at the size of it, that you want to be caught in a boat on. It can be very destructive. But we're watching this, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.